Fellas, let's talk about a story we've seen repeat itself far too often. She was married for 11 years, 3 kids, a husband who stayed, who provided, who did what men have done for centuries, held the fort down while she had a home, a roof over her head, stability, safety, and love. But suddenly it wasn't enough. Why? Because she said she was bored. She said she wanted more. She didn't want to be just a stay-at-home mom. She didn't want the responsibility that came with the very life she helped create. So what did she do? She left. She walked away. From 11 years of marriage, from a man who chose her, from a family that depended on her presence, not just her title.
So recently I caught up with an old friend, and she was telling me that she got divorced. And I was so surprised because her and her husband were such a cute couple, and they had been together for 11 years. So I asked her, like, what happened? I figured something bad happened. She's like, honestly, I was just bored. Like, my husband, all he did was work. I was a stay-at-home mom. We had 3 kids, and I just got lonely and bored. And she says that when she would bring it up, like, he would take her out, but it was just boring to her. Like, she needed some excitement in her life. She just felt like she was just a mom and a wife, and her husband just wasn't doing that for her. And she had other friends that had, boyfriends, or like they had just got married, and they were always going out, always going on vacation, always partying, like going to the club, going to the bar, hanging out with friends, and they did none of that. And when she would bring it up to her husband would always tell her, like, I gotta work. Like, they had a big house. They had nice things. Like, he was just trying to work. So they ended up getting divorced. And now, she's single. She lives alone. She's working. And she's dating. So then I told her, oh, well, that must be exciting, like dating and stuff. And she's like, no, I fucking hate it. And I was like, why? And she's like, because all they want to do is just have fun. They just want to go to the club. They just want to go to the bar. They just want to hang out, have a good time, and then that's it. She said no one wants to help me out. Like, I'm trying to find someone that's going to help take care of my kids. She's like, I just want someone to be a provider, not just a good time. So I was all like, well, wasn't that what your husband was doing? And she's like, I know. And I guess now her ex-husband is dating someone, like, seriously. They have been divorced for a total of 3 years, and he has been dating this girl for 2 years. She has 2 kids, and they're already living together. She says that he's fully taking care of her. Like, the girl doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom. They haven't had any new kids, but they're planning on having kids. And she's pissed because she's like, how can he move on so fast? Like, I can't even find nobody, and he just found someone so quick, and he didn't even want to give us another try, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was so confused because I was like, okay, so you divorced him because he was always working and you were bored. So now you are single, going out, having a good time, dating, but you don't like that. Now you want someone to take care of you, a provider. And your ex-husband, all he wanted to do was be a provider. That's why now he is dating someone who he has no problem providing for her and her kids. And she's pissed because she's like, why would he go and find someone who has kids? Like, he already has kids. Why would he want to take on that responsibility? And I'm like, wait, aren't you looking for someone to take on that responsibility? I was just giving her a hard time, I'm not gonna lie, because it was kind of funny to me, because I was like, I could tell that she regretted her decision. I could tell. And I've seen a lot of people do shit like this, where they get divorced for reasons that are not, I'm not gonna say they're not valid, because everybody's feelings are valid, but they're fixable problems. Like, I don't know if you guys have this wrong idea of marriage that it's supposed to be like fun and happy all the time. It's not. I feel like every relationship literally depends on compromise. Like, you gotta compromise something. You cannot have everything. And to be honest with you, like, if she was willing to give up on him that quick, like, maybe she just didn't love him that much. Because I cannot even imagine just me being like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna divorce my husband, like, no, you figure it out, you work it out. But I could tell that she's regretting it, because what she thought she wanted is not what she thought she wanted.
Let me ask this. When did motherhood and marriage become a prison sentence? Since when did a woman exchanging her last name and building a family turn into an excuse to play the victim and throw it all away because life wasn't exciting enough This is the modern tragedy. Fellas, a woman signs up for a family, but when reality hits, when it's no longer about girls' nights out and spontaneous trips, but about 3 a.m. feedings, discipline, and structure, suddenly she's bored. Suddenly she needs more. But no one stops to ask what happens to the man. What happens to those kids? No one checks on a husband who spent over a decade investing in a future that she decided wasn't fun enough. And here's the twist. After she leaves, she expects sympathy. She expects applause for being brave and choosing herself. But let a man walk away from his marriage because he's bored, and they'll crucify him. Let a father say he doesn't want to deal with the stress anymore, and suddenly he's a deadbeat. But when she walks away, she's empowering herself. She's being a queen. This double standard is sickening. She had everything that most people pray for: a stable partner, 3 beautiful kids, a home, a life most people would kill for, and still, it wasn't enough. It's always about more now. More attention, more validation, more freedom, more excitement, but never more responsibility, never more accountability. She didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Fine, but did she sit her husband down and communicate that with a plan? Or did she blow up the whole family because TikTok told her she deserves Paris? Not Pampers? This isn't about being bored. It's about selfishness. It's about entitlement. And it's about a culture that keeps telling women that they are never the problem, even when the wreckage is clearly caused by their own hands. She wanted more? Now her kids have less. Less family, less structure, less peace. That's the price of her boredom. Men, we need to see this for what it is. Stop blaming yourselves for the destruction someone else caused. She had a choice, and she chose to destroy. Not because she was abused, not because she was neglected, but because being a wife and a mother wasn't flashy enough. And when the dust settles, when she's older, when the attention fades and those kids grow up resenting the split, she'll look back and realize she gave up everything real for something imaginary.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey,
what are you guys doing?
we're at the playground right now. Why, what's up?
So I got stood up,
Jeez.
and he kind of said something that really kind of just fucked me up. And I really just kind of want my kids. If maybe you would bring the kids to come and I can just do it with them instead.
Let me call Mom and let her know what's going on, because, I think they'd enjoy kayaking, but I'll have something to ask them or let them know, so.
Okay, just let me know.
Alrighty.
Alright,
I'll
thanks.
let you know what's going on.
Alright, thank you.
Yep.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
This was my first Christmas as a divorced single mom. You want to know how it went? It is currently 8 a.m. on December 26th, and I just woke up an hour ago after sleeping for the last 20 hours. Because this year was Josh's year to have the kids. So I worked from 10 p.m. till 10:30 a.m. Christmas Eve into Christmas morning, and I came home and then I went to sleep, and I didn't wake up until an hour ago. Because I had nowhere to be and no one to be with. For the last 11 years of my life, my Christmases have been spent with my in-laws because that was the family that I had. And I don't have that anymore. I have one half-sister who I talk to occasionally who is in a completely different state, so couldn't spend Christmas with her. Other than that, I don't have family. And all of my friends were spending Christmas with their families, so I slept. I wish more single parents who had to share their children for the holidays would talk about how much this sucks. And I know it sucks to be the downer of the holiday season, but also because nobody talks about it, I feel like I'm alone in feeling like this, and it really sucks. Anyways, I hope all of you had a much better Christmas than I did, and I'm gonna go and find something to do for the next week until my kids come home.
She can't stop crying now, not because something was taken from her, but because she gave it all away. She divorced her husband, walked out on the man who loved her, the man who built with her, the man who stood by her flaws and imperfections, and now she's drowning in regret. And the question is, Why do so many women only realize what they had after they've thrown it in the trash? Why is it only after the damage is done? The kids are split between two homes, and the silence replaces the laughter that they finally break down. She had it all: a home, a partner, a father to her children, a man who tolerated her moods, her phases, her moment of emotional chaos. He stayed when others would have left. He worked while she complained. He showed up while she nitpicked. He protected, provided, and gave her the one thing most women cry about not having today: stability. And what did she do with it? She labeled it not enough. She called it unfulfilling. She mistook peace for boredom. And now that she's out in the real world, now that the hype has faded, the friends who encourage her to leave if you're not happy have disappeared. Now the weight of her decisions is suffocating her. And that's the part they never show you. This side, the side after the divorce. The quiet nights, the lonely dinners, the birthdays where the kids are with dad. The mirror that doesn't lie anymore. Because now she sees what she refused to see when she had everything: a good man, a good life, a rare thing in a world full of chaos. And she let it all go, thinking the grass would be greener, thinking her freedom would come with flowers and fairy tales. But all she got was a cold dose of reality. She's not crying because she lost a man. She's crying because she destroyed one. She's crying because she made a permanent decision based on temporary emotions, based on bad advice, based on self-centered thinking. And now, when she scrolls through her phone, sees pictures of what used to be, when her kids ask questions she can't answer, when her ex-husband starts to smile again, this time without her, suddenly the pain hits. Not because he hurt her, but because she hurt herself. And she can't undo it. She can't turn back time. She can't reverse the divorce. She can't erase the papers she proudly signed, thinking she was stepping into a new chapter. Instead, she wrote the end to her own story and didn't realize it until it was too late. See, this is what happens when women chase fantasy over family. When they let social media, girlfriends, and emotional impulses dictate lifelong decisions. They think they're doing what's best for them until they realize what they left was the best they ever had. And by the time they figure out, the man has moved on, the damage is done, the tears are real, but the sympathy, it's gone.
I'm sitting here with just this horrible realization. I've been divorced for 3 years, and in that 3 years, I have spent most of my days figuring out how I can become physically, mentally, financially, spiritually healthy enough to be able to afford and take care of a child. And not only have I taken that time, but I've done the math, and it does not work out. I am not young enough, or fertile enough, or financially stable enough to even do another round of IVF. And at 36, like, I'm sorry, like, you're gonna say, like, you have time. Like, I don't. Because I can't spend another minute of my life trying to make something work when I'm just fighting upstream. I don't have a support system. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources or the community. And it just kills me. It kills me that I had embryos with my ex-husband that were viable. And they're just gone now. And my future with those children And my life as a mother is just, it's gone. And it's not just that it's gone, it's the fact that it was decided for me by so many other people and factors. And that's what kills me. Because it was not my choice. And I'm angry. And I'm heartbroken.
She's crying now, not just a type of tears you wipe away and move on from, but the kind that comes from the soul, the kind that echoes through your chest at 2 a.m. when the house is silent and nobody's texting back, the kind of pain that makes her say, I wish I had known. But the truth is, she did know. She just didn't listen. She just didn't care when it mattered. She thought she was doing the right thing. She thought life would be better on the other side. She thought walking away from a man who held her down, supported her, believed in her, was some kind of self-love move. And now she sits in the dark, overwhelmed with grief, whispering how the pain makes her feel like an alien in her own body, in her own mind, disconnected from everything she once knew. It's complicated. It's painful. It's raw. But it's also self-inflicted. If you can hear her clearly, she just realized how horrible it is to have been divorced for over 3 years. And in that 3 years, she has spent her days figuring out how she can become physically, mentally, financially, and spiritually healthy enough to be able to afford and take care of her child. See, this is what happens when a woman trades responsibility for fantasy. When she convinces herself that the grass is greener, when she listens to influencers, friends, and a culture that tells her to put her happiness above her family, above her husband, above loyalty, above logic. And now she's left with nothing but memories and consequences. Now she's mourning a man she pushed away, grieving a life she burned with her own hands. This grief didn't fall from the sky. She earned it. She built it moment by moment, excuse by excuse, until the bridge collapsed and she realized she was the one swinging the axe all along. She didn't just lose a man. She lost respect. She lost peace. She lost a version of herself that was grounded in something real. And now, all she has left are fragments, regret, reflection, and tears that won't bring anything back. And the saddest part? She's not just grieving the man. She's grieving the version of her life that could have been, had she stayed grounded, had she appreciated what she had, instead of chasing what she thought she deserved. But this is what happens when you make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. When you prioritize emotions over commitment. When you confuse discomfort with destruction. And now she's broken. But not because someone broke her. Because she broke herself. She took stability for granted. She mistook sacrifice for suffering. And she bet her whole future on a fantasy that didn't exist. And now, she wants to cry. She wants the world to feel sorry for her. But where was that energy when he was fighting to make it work? When he was overlooked, undervalued, and talked down to? Where were the tears then? So no, don't feel sorry for her now. She didn't want to listen. She wanted to feel powerful. She wanted to explore. She wanted more. And now she has more silence, more guilt, more isolation, more grief than she ever bargained for. And when she says, I wish I had known, what she really means is, I wish I had listened, but it's too late now. The damage is done. The man she took for granted has moved on, healed, rebuilt, and all she has left is a hollow space where real love used to live. Let this be a reminder. When a woman walks out thinking life's going to be better without you, don't chase. Don't explain. Don't beg. Let time be her teacher. Let the silence speak louder than your words ever could. Because once she realizes what she gave up, it'll be her burden to carry. Her grief. Her tears. Her, I wish I had known. But by then, you'll be long gone, and she'll be the only one stuck in the story she wrote with her own decisions.
I'm a single mom of a 2.5-year-old. I've been split up from my ex for about 10 months now. I still get hit hard sometimes with the grief and the loneliness of it all. Like, I took him to the park and we were playing alone for a long time, and he was saying cute things, funny things, and I was texting my mom and my sister and, you know, telling them what he said. And then another family comes, and it's a mom, a dad, and a son his age, and they're all three playing together, and the kid says something funny, and they both laugh and look at each other and like talk about it. And I literally had to leave the park because I started sobbing, because I grieve that life so hard. You can have all the support in the world, you can have the best parents, the best family, but nothing replaces that relationship you have with a spouse, Mommy, and your kid. And sometimes it just feels so overwhelming that it still feels so heavy. And that the guilt still eats away at me, even though I know it was the right decision. Just the guilt that I can't give my son, like, that life.
There are no phones connected. Connect a phone and try again.
It feels really heavy and really overwhelming still. And sometimes I just feel really tired. This is all to say, if you're doing this too, you're not alone. Like, it freaking sucks. I don't know when it's supposed to get easier. I don't know if it ever will. I don't know if this is just the pain I feel forever. But if it is, I feel it with you.
She divorced her husband 10 months ago, thought she was making the right choice, thought she was gaining freedom, thought leaving him would unlock the life she deserved. Now, 10 months later, she's not celebrating. She's not enjoying the freedom she dreamed of. She's regretting. She's grieving. She's saying, divorce sucks, over and over, as if the pain, the loneliness, the consequences will somehow go away. But here's the truth. She's the one who chose this. She made the decision. And now, all that's left is the aftermath. The broken pieces of the life she thought she could just walk away from without realizing what she had until it was gone. She thought divorce was an escape. She thought the grass would be greener. She thought that by walking away from a husband who loved her, a man who stood by her, a father who helped raise her kids, she'd somehow find herself in a better place. But what she didn't realize is that divorce doesn't set you free. It doesn't solve your problems. It doesn't make life more exciting. It doesn't fill the void. All it does is create more emptiness, more confusion, more pain. And now, she's sitting in it, with no way out but to confront the decision she made. She's crying, wishing she could go back, but the truth is she can't. The papers are signed. The kids are caught in the middle. The damage is done. This isn't about her being a victim. This is about her not taking responsibility for the wreckage she created. She wasn't in an abusive relationship. She wasn't neglected. Her husband didn't cheat. He didn't lie. But she wanted more. She wanted excitement. She wanted to feel like she was more than just a wife and mother. She wanted validation, adventure, and something new. And so she walked. She walked away from stability. She walked away from someone who loved her. She walked away from the future they were building together. And now she's left with a hole that nothing seems to fill. Now, 10 months later, she can't stop grieving. She's realizing that what she threw away wasn't just a man. It was a life. It was a partnership. It was a love that so many people only dream of. But she didn't see it until it was too late. And let me be clear, this isn't some Hollywood story. This isn't a tale of a woman breaking free from an abusive partner. This is about a woman who was given everything: love, support, stability, and she chose to throw it away. Now, she's grieving the very thing she thought she could do without. When she says, divorce sucks, what she's really saying is, I was wrong. She's saying, I didn't appreciate what I had until it was gone. but she won't admit it. She'll cry. She'll feel sorry for herself. But at the end of the day, it's her fault. She made that choice, and now she has to live with it. Let me be clear. When a woman walks away from her husband, she is not just walking away from a relationship. She's walking away from the future they were supposed to have together. She's walking away from the home they built. She's walking away from a partnership that had the potential to last a lifetime. But instead, she chose to destroy it because she thought there was something better out there. Now, 10 months later, she's waking up to the reality that there isn't. There is no better. There's just emptiness. And she's the one who created it. If your wife walks away, don't chase her. Don't beg. Don't apologize. Don't explain yourself. If she can't see your worth while you're still standing in front of her, let her go. Let her regret her decision. Let her sit in the grief she caused herself. You don't need to carry the burden of her poor choices. She made that bed. Now let her lie in it.